1, 2,
Well,
3.
we're back.
We're back
We're
in
back,
the room.
Paul.
Yes.
We're back, and we're not alone because
No,
it's
we're
a
not.
guest episode, and we have Jenny Lucas, who you may remember back from episode 75. Welcome, Jenny.
I am delighted to be back. I couldn't think of anything I would rather be doing in this time than recording this with you guys.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much. God, music to my ears.
And speaking of music, let's go to a place where the distractions are landmarks and the detours are the main roads. Welcome to ADHDville.
Cue the intro.
We've got Lucas, we've got Jenny. Lucas in the house.
Jenny from the block. Jenny from the block. Jenny from the block. Don't look at the rocks that she's got.
Exactly. Now, Jenny, episode 75. You were starting to write a book.
Yep.
And we said we would have you back when that book has been published, and here it is.
Ta-da!
I'm holding up to the camera.
Wow!
Autism, ADHD And Me by our friend Jenny Lucas.
It's a pretty cover, isn't it?
It is. What do you think of the design, Paul?
I like it. I like the diagonals. It's always a good one for if you want to get attention, get a diagonal in there. And I like the fact that you've got Jenny Lucas next to me so that you know that me means Jenny Lucas.
There we go.
Brilliant.
I can't take credit for the design of that. I have to say the publishing company that I was working with had an amazing, they have an amazing guy that they work with that does the book covers for the books that they release. And I had 4 to choose from. I had to fill in a Word document with like all of the things that I like and send some pictures of book covers that I liked and was like, oh, I kind of like these ideas.
Right.
And then he had to turn that into a visual concept. And he sent me these 4 to look at, and that was the first one that I saw. And I was like, that is it. That's the one. The rest can get in the bin.
Yeah.
This is the one.
And it also says here, your no bullshit guide to life after late diagnosis. So that's
correct.
So I'm just going to put it here like that.
Give us a sense. Give us a sense, Jenny, of how it went from idea to actually publishing it.
But this is the thing. Like, I do not have a big enough following for publishing companies, traditional publishing companies, to be knocking down my door and saying, Jenny, will you please write us a book? But I knew that I had ideas that I wanted to put out there. And I'd sort of started, probably this time last year, actually, I started to like map out a concept and be like, oh, it'd be really good if I could talk about this sort of thing, or I've got some material I could talk about that sort of thing. And so I went to an independent publishing company and asked them for advice about what to do, and they signed me up. And that was in January of this year. And then they gave me a deadline where I had to put my ideas to paper, and so there was a whole sort of process that we followed to actually get it out into the wild last month.
And the deadline helped, right? The deadline helps.
Oh, 1,000,000%. There is no way that if I was doing this by myself and I was figuring out how to self-publish, how to list it, how to do like the typography and getting it, like the concept of understanding and learning about and then putting into action all of those technical things would just have been so overwhelming with life, with all the other things that are going on, because there's no push.
Because you've got
that deadline really helped. I do, I've got 2 daughters, who one who's a teenager now, so that keeps me on my toes. That it's a lot, and I've got a day job and a business, and like many people, I have a busy life.
I know, and I will say that it reached the Amazon bestseller list. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was it's one of those things where you just never quite know what's going to happen on the day. And it did. It hit #1 bestseller on paperback and Kindle within the 24 hours of it being launched. And we actually knocked comedian Miranda Hart over in the UK. We knocked her off the top spot for a little while.
Screw you, Miranda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a lovely little additional bit of kudos to say this book is out in the world.
Great.
But yeah, the process itself is it's a fascinating thing. I think when you've got ADHD in particular, I'm lucky. Yeah. I'm going to say I'm lucky, and I'm going to caveat that by saying because I have ADHD and autism, at times they tend to keep each other in check, and I think that's why I went so long not being diagnosed. But I did need the deadline from the publisher. And the deadline was publication date, which was the 28th of October. And in January, I was going, that's ages away. And then when I was having conversations with them about what that actually meant, they were like, no, we actually need the finished product like at the end of June. And I was like, oh, that's not quite as long as I thought.
Okay.
And so their suggestion was, figure out if you want to do up to 40,000 words and then work back and be like, I'll do 1,500 words a week. And immediately as we were having that conversation, my brain's going, that's never going to work for us. We can't be consistent like that. Don't be ridiculous. So it ended up being very much a passion of hyper-focus in chunks of time across that sort of 6 month period.
Okay.
Crazy.
I was going to ask, what does that look like? What does Jenny look like when she's hyper-focused? Do your kids just don't eat for 3 weeks?
Jenny had to take herself away for little weekends in an Airbnb somewhere far away from other human beings.
Right.
So that she had absolutely no excuse but to sit and do the book. That's how it worked in my head.
I think actually I remember we suggested that you went to a tropical island somewhere and that you did it there, but you did it in like sort of a Holiday Inn, B&B.
I stayed in a couple of lovely Airbnbs sort of by the coast. I thought I'll go and take myself down by the south coast somewhere. So it was island-like, sea view. Because I knew I was going to need that time. It is. I felt like a proper author. I mean, I was booking one of them. I actually literally wrote because they like you to put a little message in. I was like, I'm writing a book.
You are a proper author.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's so weird.
That's great.
Now then, I've only had it a while, so I've only had a chance to read. I read all the intro stuff.
Lovely.
And then I kind of cherry picked my way through the book. And there's a couple of things I really liked about it, which was very ADHD friendly, if you were. There's a lot of your personal stories in it. You definitely put yourself right in the book.
Yeah.
It isn't just like a sort of clinical sort of, how to do ADHD autism. You're telling stories the whole time. I
quite like that concept. And I didn't want it to be like an autobiography because who am I to write an autobiography? Nobody wants to read about my life. Mm-hmm. However, I did want it to be relatable to the people that were going to pick it up and read it. And the way that you do that, obviously, as you guys know, is by storytelling and giving people examples where they can go, oh, shit, yeah, that sounds like me, or that's happened to me, or that's very similar to my circumstance. That's great. I don't feel alone. So that was really important to me, that people would pick that up and recognise themselves in it. But I love what you said there, Martin, about cherry picking your way through the book, because I've written it so that you could pick it up at any chapter. If you're having an issue with burnout or relationships, or you want to know more about your sensory profile, you can literally just pick it up and read that chapter. You don't have to go from start to finish to get the information out of it.
Well, nice. I mean, that's the point, Nick. As an ADHD reader, I mean, how many ADHD people or autistic people read from the first page right through to the epilogue? No one.
I know. It's quite a concept, isn't it? So I wanted to make it readable from that perspective. The way that I've laid it out is also quite it's in chunks, so it's not visually too overwhelming. And it's not actually a very thick book. I'm not going to lie to you. If I pick up my own copy now, I think we're at 147 pages.
Okay, it's a good number.
Because I didn't want to fill it full of absolute shit of, people waffle. What's the point in here? It's all, it's your no bullshit guide, as it says on the title. It's meant to be for people to be able to pick up and get value from straight away. But I did make a PDF download, a free little freebie that goes along with it, for anybody that wants to dive into any of the concepts a little bit more deeply, who's got capacity to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
I wanted to try and keep those separate so that people could just get what they needed out of the book, and then if somebody wants to take it a little bit further, they can take it a little bit further, but it's not like you don't have to do it all in the book at the same time.
Right, because there's like a sort of a QR code.
There is indeed.
And then and then you can sort of there's sort of like workbooks and other kind of extra stuff, which is good. I like that.
So for a lot of publishing, getting the book published and printed is only the start, right? Are you now expected contractually to go around and promote?
Well, this is the nice thing about working with this particular publishing company, because they are like an independent publishing company. I own the rights to the book. So we have published it through Amazon KDP. So it'll be available paperback and Kindle through KDP, and the audiobook is coming. We're having a bit of a logistical nightmare with Amazon at the minute, but hopefully by the time this goes out live, there will be an audiobook version for people to download.
Okay.
And it is also...
And it's going to be your voice, right? Because you have a nice voice.
Oh,
you have a nice voice. You have a good...
It is going to be my lovely Scottish tones that read the book to you on the audible version.
I love a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
It feels like putting on slippers, and like warm your hands on the hearth, and I just love it. It makes me homesick.
Nice. I've never been
Jenny.
Homesick for what, Paul?
For being in Blighty.
You're not Scottish.
No, but Blighty,
for being Blighty. All right, fair enough. I mean,
it's not that great here at the moment, Paul, to be honest. I wouldn't miss it too much, to be fair.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff. Yes, I've heard some stuff going on. Yes.
Oh.
But in terms of what you were saying there, I'm not contractually obliged, because I with the publishing company, I paid them a fee for their services, for all the, like we mentioned before, the book cover and the typography, a little bit of editorial input, them doing behind the scene things and getting it up on Amazon for me. And so the book is mine, their job is finished. And in terms of percentage, I get what Amazon don't take in terms of there's a cost to listing it on Amazon, and they print the books on demand and all that jazz. So I get a percentage of the book price, and then it's mine. And so if it became wildly famous and I made it to the Sunday Times bestseller list, for example, a traditional publisher could then knock on the door and say, we'd like to buy the rights to your book. And then a whole different process would start then after.
Okay, that's good. I was listening to another podcast last week about a guy. He actually won an Oscar for a book that he wrote about a children's book, but it actually turned into an adult's book in the end. It's something to do with donkeys and stuff, and it's like really simple little quotes between, discussions between a donkey and whatever. He won an Oscar for it, but he said something really amazing. He said he doesn't care about all the things that he'd won, awards that he'd won. He said he was walking through Liverpool Street in London, and someone came up to him and said, "Oh, are you such and such an author?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I just want to say that you really, really helped me." And he said that's what it's all about. That's what it's about.
It is 100%.
Well,
you could have all the trophies in the world, and have all the numbers. But if someone comes up and said, "Look, you really helped me get through this."
Yeah, and I mean, what you were mentioning earlier on about it being an Amazon bestseller, that's a lovely thing, and I am grateful for that. But I am aware, I use that as a tool to get it out wider so that more people can get their hands on it, if you know what I mean. That's the plus of having that little badge on my book cover, if you will, is that hopefully it'll then get into the hands of more people. And I have had some nice feedback about it, and about people sort of, like you say, getting in contact and saying, wow, this is like the first time that I've seen something as supportive as this. And that is literally the whole point. I want somebody to pick it up and feel valued and seen and validated, really.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, it is nice, isn't it, Paul? Like when we get someone who listens to the podcast and go, that was,
oh God, yeah.
You know, thanks guys for doing this. And you kind of go, yes, it's worth it.
I mean, exactly. I got there was someone who left a message a couple of weeks ago, and I was really emotional about it. You know, they said, it's an important part of their day. You know, it's like, God, you know, what more do you want?
Yeah, do you know what? It's lovely when that happens, because you know what it feels like when you find something that you identify with that becomes an important part of your life, and for somebody else to sort of say that about something you've produced, it kind of mind blowing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And speaking of things, Paul, this is a Matt Lamb cover.
Yes.
I'm getting technical here, but he'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
What?
And it's also Din extra bold font.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
See, so we like the font.
The curse of being a graphic designer. You go around. Right. You spend your whole life going around, just spotting what font it is, and think, "Oh God, is that it?
What a skill!
What the hell?" Yes.
I know. So from an autistic ADHD perspective, having a matte laminated cover means it feels really nice.
It's soft, isn't it?
Like it feels soft. That's why I like a good matte lamb.
I had the option to make it shiny, and I was like, no, we want it matte. Thank you very much.
You made the right choice. You never want a shiny laminated thing.
So what's happening now, Jenny? What's on the horizon now?
So now I've got to sell the book. So that is a sort of, it's continuing on, like, you know, trying to make sure that it's getting out there and that people can find it. But off the back of that, I'm running a webinar at the end of November, which continues along the theme of how I like to speak. And it is called The Magical Vortex of Giving a Shit About Yourself.
Nice.
Love
catchy
it.
Title.
I love a catchy title. So I'm doing a webinar at the end of November that's all about sort of self-love and looking after yourself and how important that is to your overall well-being. And then I've got a little group program that I'm running for the first time in January, which has also got more swear words in it, the title of it. I don't know if you'd like me to share it here or not.
Yeah, please.
I do like a good. I mean, our book, as I think I alluded to last, our book has got swearing everywhere. It is
excellent.
It is like literally every page will have swearing in it, guaranteed. 20% more swearing.
Bear in mind that after 104 or 5 episodes that we've done, Martin says at the end of every episode, take fucking good care of yourself.
Right.
But I mean, that is it, isn't it? Because we're so used to like being hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially if you're late diagnosed. You know, the monkey on your back, because it's just like really severe.
You've spent a lifetime embodying and sort of imbibing, is not the word I want to use, but absorbing all of those different negative things and points of view and labels from other people. It's a real piece of work to start even being aware of that, let alone sort of working to try and reverse that.
Right. And then, okay, so you mentioned that there was going to be some swearing, and then I cut in there.
So the webinar is called The Magical Vortex of Giving a Shit About Yourself, and the group program that's coming in January is called Find Your Fucking Self. And it's a 12-week program which kind of takes you through that journey of self-discovery. What does this mean now, whether you've got a diagnosis or you just are suspecting that you are neurodivergent, and sort of taking people through the main themes that are in the book to explore on a more personal level, and then hopefully come out at the end of it having found a bit more of their fucking selves.
Right.
Nice. I like that. Find your fucking self. FYFS. Fight.
Yes, FYFS.
Yes.
I've gone from life.
I did that. I did that when I had a massive breakdown about 12 years ago, and I said, and it started from a really hard, difficult point, but just a life-changing point in my life. I said, Paul, who the fucking hell are you? And it sounds simplistic, the hardest questions are those simple ones. Like, I'd be pretending to be someone else. And that was 10 years before I got a diagnosis.
Yeah.
It's just like...
It's having that curiosity, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah. And I remember that being a really hard point, but I was excited about it as well. I was like really curious, like, oh, who are you?
Yeah. And do you know what, that you've touched on a really good point there in terms of that. So for people that are discovering this about themselves or that have that late diagnosis, it's a complete roller coaster ride. And you guys will both know this, and you'll have experienced your own version of it. The idea of, oh, thank God, I've got a bit of information that explains things. This is amazing. And then, oh, but my whole life before this point is like been a total lie. And it's like you're constantly having these, oh, that's why that happens. That makes sense. And oh my God, why did nobody notice? And it's just like constantly. And I have to say that is one of the things that people have said to me as well in conversation about the book, is that like, when do I stop feeling so like overwhelmed about all these things that I'm experiencing? And it does come eventually, but it's a real up and down to begin with, isn't it?
Oh God, it's such a roller coaster. And then you start thinking about, when do you start sharing it with family?
Oh, that is a loaded question. That's a very personal question, isn't it?
Yeah, I told my father last week.
Oh, how did he take that?
Not bad. Well, I don't think he knew how to take it. It was like, it wasn't good or wasn't bad. It was just like, yeah, I knew it would be like pointless. Put it that way. Yeah, he's 83, so it's difficult. They're really difficult concepts at that age. But yeah.
So it is fascinating though when you say he was 83. I've had so many women in their 60s contact me to say that they've just had a diagnosis, or is it worth me going to get a diagnosis at this point in my life? And just even in your 60s and beyond. In fact, I had one lady that was in her 70s, only one so far, and it's just, even at that point, that it has had an impact in a positive way. Even having gone through so much life, to just have that information even at that point has been really positive. So I don't think it's ever too late to start understanding yourself.
Is it? It's never too late. I've heard people that, doctors or psychologists that have diagnosed people, psychiatrists that have diagnosed people in their 80s. It's never too late. I mean, it's a shame. We did an episode about regret. I wish I'd discovered it many years before. But hey, it's okay.
Yeah, it is. And that struggle, I like where in your, just to kind of bring it back to your book, you're quite open about where you do struggle. It's not like that you place yourself in a kind of like, I've reached the top of the highest mountain of this and I'm just going to teach everyone. It's like, no,
it's a superpower. Yay. No, it's not.
but you do where like where you do struggle, like in friendships. Say
Yeah.
you'll say, yeah, like, look, this is something that I'm working on as well. So you definitely feel like you're a couple of steps ahead, but you're not. But you're not in the distance. You are
No.
part of that person's journey as well. The
Thank you for saying that,
reader's
Martin.
journey.
I appreciate that, because I think it's really, authenticity is really important to me, and in all of my social media stuff that I put across, I want to always strike the balance between, oh my God, my life is so hard and shit, and oh, it's okay, everything's great all the time. Do you know what I mean? Because we all have days where it feels like that, like 10 times in the same day. And it's important that, no one has got it all figured out. There is absolutely no one on the planet who has like reached peak, I understand myself and now I know everything. And I think all we can strive for is like knowing ourselves better and having grace and compassion with ourselves as we still figure shit out as we're going through life. Because I don't think we're ever going to reach an age where we feel like the adultiest adult in the room, let's be honest. So you just got to have some compassion for the fact that it is still a journey.
Yeah. I like the adultiest person in the room. But friendship is
Never going to
such a
happen to me.
common, even if people, as we know that autism and ADHD, there's so many different aspects of it, and different people have different clusters of those characteristics, but friendship is so common.
Yeah.
Is actually
it's such an interesting topic.
developing and taking care of friendships.
Yeah, and I mean, I am quite honest in the book, and actually I did a podcast episode on my own podcast for the start of this season about friends and friendship, and how at the ripe old age of 41, I don't think I'm ever going to find that tribe, because I just haven't ever quite throughout my life just found those people. And interestingly, somebody put a comment on one of the posts that I put on social media when I was describing this and what I was hoping for in a friendship. And they said, I think you're looking more for like a sibling type relationship, that kind of bond that you can have with siblings. They said, I think that's what you're looking for. And I was like, oh, I'd never thought about that before, actually. Never crossed my mind.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy, is it? Like when you get to a certain age, it becomes like, it's almost like people almost kind of go, oh, I have enough friends now. I don't need any more friends.
Yeah.
So it becomes hard, to find people.
Being late diagnosed, I just found on a lot of issues, like accepting some things, is so freaking liberating.
Yeah, definitely. And just those, it's acknowledging that it's a struggle even. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, it's really liberating to instead of like beating yourself with a stick and being like, when am I going to get better at this thing? I need to be better at this. To be able to say, actually, I'm not very good at that, and that's okay. Like you say, that's really liberating, because then you can kind of like park that and move on with another aspect of your life.
But yesterday, for example, it might seem like a really tiny detail, but yesterday I went out of the house to get bread, some things for acid reflux, and to recharge my phone. I forgot two of those, and went back home. And whereas maybe before my diagnosis, or even after my diagnosis, about a year ago, I would have been really hard on myself, and I'd have troped back, I would turn back, in a mood, in a fluster. And this time, yesterday, I went, it's okay. That's all right, Paul. You have a nice conversation with yourself. We just walk back.
Yes.
It's just round the corner.
But Paul, you basically violated this golden ADHD rule, which I have in my head, right? Which is you can't remember three things, right? You can only remember two things. Right. If you add a third in, it's like a house of cards. It all just you'll forget either two of them or one of them.
Yeah.
Luckily, one of the things I did remember was the acid reflux.
Good. That's
Right.
really important.
God, it's a nightmare when you get older.
I don't. I used to have it, but I don't anymore. But weirdly, my green tea tastes a little bit like fish, and I'm not quite sure why.
Okay.
I feel like somehow, like if you've cooked fish and then somehow the fish taste or the smell permeates into other things,
Yeah.
Right.
it's somehow got into my green tea, and I'm not enjoying it, to be honest.
Right.
That's not very nice.
Okay, that's not. Right. Okay.
I just thought I'd share
Where,
that.
yeah. Where do you stand on kippers, Jenny?
Oh, my father-in-law likes a kipper on a Saturday morning. I'm not a big fan.
Oh,
Because it's a Scottish thing, isn't it? The kipper.
Yeah, it's not my favourite. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I
You're
can't.
going to
It's
get
too much for me. It's a bit
kicked out.
strong for me.
If you say so, what about haggis? I am going to go there. I'm just going to have to test how much Scottish you really are.
I very much do enjoy a bit of haggis. Not going to
Oh
lie,
yeah,
but it's
you're
got to be
back
with the tatties. Not a big fan of the neeps. Could take or leave them, to be fair.
Alright.
But yeah, bit of mash, lovely.
Okay, all right. 99.9% Scottish then. There we go.
Never had a deep fried Mars bar, so I don't know. That leaves some people to
Yeah.
question my.
It's a
You're
bit
now
of
down
an
to
urban
92.
myth, isn't it? It's mostly an urban myth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, we do love a battered pizza, especially in the west of Scotland. Battered pizza is very nice.
I have had in New York. I had deep fried Oreos. So it's
Crunchy.
Oh man.
it was good, man. It was good. I mean, just have one in your entire life.
Yeah,
Fine.
exactly.
It's good.
I was watching last night a documentary about the demise of the chip shop. That in the UK, the chip shop, there's virtually one closing every other week. I do miss a
Price
fish
of
and
fish.
chip supper.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's sad.
A little chat about suppers and general eating.
Right. So I'm going to bring it back to the book.
To do that, that's your job,
Exactly.
Martin.
Because that is my job. It's like herding ADHD people. That's my job. What I was going to do, Paul, was to work out the font size for you, because I did want to kind of
I can guess it.
say.
It's
but it is
quite
definitely
big.
looks. It is, yeah. I mean, I would say that you're looking at a sort of a 13, possibly 14 point.
Yeah, maybe 14 point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a dyslexia-friendly font as well. I was made sure that we chose a dyslexia-friendly font to make it as accessible as possible.
See,
I
didn't
like
know that existed until Martin told me about 2 months ago that there's a dyslexia-friendly font. I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I was going to like is that it's broken up into like little into chunks. It's kind of quite, as you were saying, like when you were just if you wanted to kind of like just cherry pick, but even within that, it's all kind of like bullet pointed out. It's just kind of it's quite easy to just get something out of it without it being like, you don't have to read like these solid pages of text. It's kind of quite broken out, which I appreciate.
For you, so the webinars. How does the ADHD autistic Jen deal with webinars? Are you okay with those?
I don't mind, because I was a teacher for 16 years, so I've spoken in front of loads of people. Like, that's not a problem. And speaking in front of people, I've done CPD delivery. Like, I don't mind that. The Scottish ADHD part of me really quite enjoys interacting with other human beings, and then the autistic part's like, no, we don't enjoy that. Pipe down.
Okay.
So for the most part, the interaction with other humans on that level is quite good. And it's, it's a webinar. I'm talking to a screen. I did that loads during COVID, so it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's
I'm quite
funny
looking
you
forward
mention
to that,
that.
to be honest.
It's funny you mention that because until I started teaching at high school 2 years ago, I'd never have believed that I could, stand up in front of, even if it's teenagers, to stand up in front
Yep.
of people and talk. And now it's like second nature. I could do it, no problem at all. It's just you trick your
Yeah,
brain. You can train your brain,
you
even an
do.
ADHD brain. You can do it,
Yep.
definitely.
You can absolutely trick it. And I find it really fascinating because I was a music teacher for 16 years. And I discovered in my autism assessment, when we were going through various different things, that one of my highest sensory issues is sound and sound input. And
Mm,
I was like, well, how come I was able to be a music teacher for 16 years and be in these really noisy, loud
yes.
classrooms with keyboards and drum kits and, like,
Yeah.
you can imagine. And he said that in your sensory profile, your area of greatest need or distress can also be your area of greatest strength. And I was like, that just blows my mind. I don't understand how, but I could be sitting in this room getting pissed off at hearing the sound of the electricity in the printer. And
Yeah.
yet I could also be in a classroom with 30 kids with keyboards playing with their headphones off. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
That's
Uh,
really
I'm the same as
interesting. You
Dean.
know what?
Yeah.
This morning I went to the eye doctor to kind of like have my annual tests and stuff, and she pointed out that my optical nerve is abnormally large.
Wow.
Um,
Is that a
and
compliment?
with ooh, sir, your optic
It
nerve
is
is
now.
huge. Ooh, thank you. And I was having this conversation with her, which was like, oh, so that means I'm getting more visual information
Yeah.
in my brain than normal people. And she said, yeah. And I said, oh Jesus, like that with ADHD is like a not necessarily always a great combo. But you're saying that
Exhausting.
that it can be your biggest strength, as which I do
Mm,
find, because I'm a visual artisty
Yeah.
creative type, but also the actual visual world can actually just kind of burn me out
Yeah.
as well in some way that you're saying that you're quite uh, listening centric,
Yeah.
and that it's a two-sided thing, that that it has a good side and it has a weird bad side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
I
interesting.
remember
What
when I
about you,
was
Paul? What's the arch with
I
you?
remember I remember when I was when I was teaching, I got really uppity. There's a word I didn't think I was going to use today. Uppity, about how bad the acoustics are. About how bad the acoustics are at school. For learning. Basic stuff. They spend money
Mm-hmm.
on like really amazing, technological kind of projectors and stuff like that, and connectivity. But the acoustics is so bad. And the problem for me was I could hear if like there were two students at the back of the class who were whispering into each other, and if I had someone
Mm-hmm.
at the front of the class with me and they were talking to me, doing a presentation to me with their homework or whatever, all I could hear was the two at the back, like really loud. And they were just, I gave them such hell about it. So look, I know Prof Thompson always goes on about this. Can you please learn to listen and just shut up? I didn't say it in those words, but I could literally hear the tiniest, the most, really most the most whispered conversation at the back of the class.
Mm.
That's what drove me crazy. The kind of the general chaos didn't really bother me that much. It was like more the subtle
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So
But so you
annoying.
don't teach it. You don't teach anymore, Jenny.
I do not. No, I got out of the classroom in 2022. I left teaching, and now I work for our local council. It's very boring.
Okay. Is
Very
it?
boring. Yeah.
Solid work, though. Solid.
Okay.
Working for the
Solid.
council. Solid.
Yeah, solid. That's it. We'll never go out of business. There's always going to be residents to look after, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Or at least
Okay.
our local authorities, not one of the ones that has gone bust this year. So, every cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. My sister-in-law, she's like she works for. I think she's fairly high up. She's an accountant, and she works for, like, I don't know. It used to be Hammersmith, but so like she was one of the ones that would like look at those sort of budgets and the money and
Okay.
decide who was going bust and who was
Yeah.
and
Right.
who wasn't. I don't know why
Well,
I mentioned her, but go on,
the
Jane.
last time we the last time we spoke, Jenny, I was still teaching at school, and I gave it up in June. I had an argument with the headmistress
Oh, yeah.
because she wanted
That's quite
me to
common when
go
you've got
to all of the
ADHD.
meetings. Yeah, that was
Oh,
quite.
no.
Oh, yeah, and she and I told her that she was unreasonable, and
I'm sure that went down really well.
it didn't go well at all. Didn't go well at all. I didn't get invited back, but they did give me a referral
No.
for another school where I didn't want to go back. I'd burned my
Fair
bridges
enough.
at the school with the headmistress, definitely. But I found everything about teaching was fine, other than dealing with the bureaucracy and
Yeah.
the kind of in the kind of gossip between the teachers.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was horrendous. Endless meetings, and I can't do
Well, that's all it is.
meetings.
Endless meetings and emails
Yeah.
and parents' evenings.
Oh yeah,
Right.
parents.
I'm going
Actually,
to take
that
us
was yeah.
back to the book.
Go
Back
on,
to the
Mark.
book,
Back to the
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Let's make this interesting. Paul,
Yes.
give me a number between, like, I don't know,
23.
between, like. All right, fair enough. There we go. Page 23. Let's see. Let's put little nugget just springs out at me. Okay, there we go. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop striving to grow or to adapt. It means you stop seeing your traits through a purely moral lens of good or bad.
Yeah.
There
But that's
we go.
exactly what we were talking
There
about
is
before, isn't it? It's exactly what we were talking about
there are
before.
just a random page, a nugget of gold. Pull it
What
out.
are the chances?
See,
That was a
they're
really
what?
bizarre.
Very high.
It
Very
was
high.
right on the nail.
See, Paul.
Yeah. On the
Very
nail.
high. Yeah. Nail on the head.
Well,
No, so I mean, like,
uh,
so go on.
well,
Talk, Paul.
coincidentally, Jenny, I did mention to Martin we're like maybe halfway, almost halfway through our book, developing our book, and you came up
Good.
in my mind, and I think I mentioned to Martin that you could be potentially a kind of a sounding board for maybe the first draft, if you're up for that.
I would love to critique the swear words that you're putting in your book. That would be a
Yeah.
great pleasure.
But thankfully for you, there isn't too much to read. It's not really lots of words. So
Okay.
we're just going to make it easy on everyone by taking most of the words out.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah. There's a lot of emphasis on the kind of visual part, that's for sure.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
And the cartoons and the sheer lunacy of the Monty Python-ness of it.
Yeah, there is very Monty Python-y. And basically, every time you turn a page, you think, "What the hell is going to be next?" It's pretty, yeah, pretty
Well, that's what
mad.
you want in a book, though. That's what you want.
Yeah,
You want it to be a
Hmm.
page turner.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And there'll
So
be Easter
okay,
eggs in there that you won't see until you see that page for the fourth time and then
Yes.
realise,
Love
oh,
that. Like a pick your own murder mystery type book.
yeah,
You go back and you go,
kind of.
yeah,
oh, okay.
Wait, I've seen that thing. There is a skunk on this page. Hang on a second. There's exactly
yeah.
the same skunk over on page 13. Oh, and on page 14. It's like
It's
find
like
find the hidden skunk.
it'd be like going to Woolworths in the 1980s to the pick and mix section.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Nice.
right.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like, I think that kind of gets us to like where, like we were trying to make this sort of this relatable to other people, which is like, a lot of us have busy days,
Yeah.
and then these little, I say little projects. I mean, they can be quite large projects that are on the side that we really struggle. I mean, like Paul and I are kind of doing our book in spits and starts, and he'll do a couple of pages, and a couple of weeks will pass, and I'll do one, but it's hard to kind of like focus on and get something achieved. So I mean,
Yeah.
firstly, it's a huge achievement to kind of get the
Yeah.
book out when you've got everything else going on.
Okay.
But like, how do we as ADHDers like manage to make things happen that are on what the Americans call the side of the side of I can't say now, the side of the desk, like
Okay.
where these kind of like things that are not on your proper desk, they're on the
Yep.
side of the desk, these little side
Yeah.
projects.
Side
I think you've got
hustles.
to find a way. I think you've got to find a way to bring it onto the desk and make it important. And the way I did that was to
Mm,
pay money to a company that were going to hold me accountable to a specific deadline. And then I
totally.
had to say, right, I need to go away for this weekend and I need to go away for this weekend and I need to get it written and I need to, make sure I've got things done. And I also brought other people into the project. So I had 5 beta readers that I needed to have the book done to a certain point by so that they could have it because they were giving up their time for free to like
Yeah,
give me the
yeah.
feedback on the book. So I made myself accountable to other people, and I put money on the project as well, which doesn't always. I mean, that isn't always a guarantee that I will be successful because ADHD tax, etc. But I had to
Yeah.
make it not just be my responsibility. I had to make sure that other people. I felt responsible to
Yeah.
other people as well.
But on the flip
Right,
side
right.
of that, if you go down the traditional route, there's especially for ADHDs, there's a genuine possibility you could put a hell of a lot of time and effort into it, and you just will never find the right publisher at the right time.
Yeah,
And not necessarily because it's good or bad, but just because it's really hard. You need a lot of
yeah.
luck, and if you haven't got a name for yourself, people aren't just going to bother.
No,
It's really
that's right.
hard
You have
out
to
there,
have a
isn't it,
following.
to get published?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I think we can start to close things up, Paul. I think.
Yes.
I think we can start
Okay.
to wrap things
Just
up. All right.
just
Go
let
what?
us just
What?
remind us the name of your webinar that you've got coming up, Jenny.
It's the magical vortex of giving a shit about yourself on, I want to say, the
Fantastic.
26th of November. Is that a Wednesday? Yes, 26th of November,
2025.
2025. And I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere potentially in the show notes that people can click on to
Yes,
Yes.
find out more.
So I
absolutely.
will put all of your, because I will put your website, your TikTok page, your Facebook, and I'll put all of that on to the show notes. And it says here, paid support. You can also do one-on-one coaching
Correct. I
with
have got some spaces left this year.
with Jenny for personalized support of your unique journey. Yeah. So there is lots of options for you to get involved because it says the last words in this book. The last words, Paul. Remember, you
Yes.
don't have to do this journey alone.
Hmm.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
There we
Okay.
go.
Excellent. Great job,
All
Jenny. Brilliant. Amazing.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
And it just leaves me to say ADHDville is delivered every. Oof. Let's start that again with the music. ADHDville is delivered fresh every Tuesday to all purveyors of fine podcasts. Please subscribe to the pod and rate us most pumpkin spiced, and feel free to correspond at will in the comments. But wait, there's more. If you wish to see our beautiful faces, then sally forth to the YouTubes and the TikToks. You can also pick up a quill and email us at ADHDville@gmail.com. But in the meantime, be fucking kind to yourself.
And I beseech you, fellow ADHDs, fare thee well with gladness of heart.
And thanks a lot, Jenny, for coming on.
Thanks, Jenny. A pleasure to see you
Thanks
again.
for having me, guys.
It's been
Pleasure.
a real pleasure. All right, we can wave ourselves goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. I'm not going to hit the stop button.